Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Division video, and in today's video we are going to take a look at another exotic weapon. I'm doing it now because in the PTS I have access to unlimited exotic caches, which of course means it's a great chance to try and check out these weapons, see how they've changed, and of course show that to you guys. So with that in mind, if there are any weapons that you guys would like to see me cover, do definitely let me know. That could also extend to gear pieces as well. Basically any exotic items that perhaps you want to know about, you want to see, then let me know, because while the PTS is up, it's a great chance to show you. However, today I'm going to focus on MIDAS. This is a weapon I haven't spoken about for a very, very long time. I did a video way back when it was first introduced, and it was actually broken the very first time I obtained it, to the point where you could basically get your signature skill back in about 2 seconds. So, as I'm sure you can imagine, that was not a great thing, so they fixed that very quickly, and since then MIDAS hasn't really been used. However, now that the exotic weapons have been given new unique talents in 1.6, it's actually a rather interesting weapon, but interesting in a different way. Not to the point where it's like, oh, this is going to be the new OP weapon where everyone's going to go and grab it, use it and kill enemies in like no time at all. It's not like that. It's more interesting because it will see people play in a different way, and it's something you might see value in with, say, team play, or if you're doing like high level PvE content, and to a certain extent PvP as well. So in this video, I can take a super quick look at it, show you guys what it does now. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions. But to begin with, this is, as a reminder, what it looks like. It is one of those hideously gold weapons. I personally don't like it. You can't camo it. But either way, this is what it looks like. But the talent now is called MIDAS. And it basically makes it so that each bullet you hit with reduces your damage by 1%. And your target's damage by 1% also, to a maximum of 20%. So effectively, you are debuffing both yourself and your opponent. The effect is then reduced by 5% per second. So essentially what it's doing is, all while you are shooting your opponent, while you are doing less damage, so is your opponent. So you kind of use it as a means to debuff enemies, especially if you apply this to the notion of, say, a big tanky enemy who has a lot of health, who will typically, you know, shoot at you for an extended period of time. Then if you're able to pile these shots in, you are effectively cutting their damage down. Now, if you take a look at this in the firing range to kind of clearly illustrate what it does, you can of course see per single shot, this is the damage that I output, with of course the build that I have right now. But if you then fire consecutive shots, the damage drops down each shot until you get to the point where you've hit that 20% damage reduction cap. So with the MIDAS, that's down from about 20k to about 16k. So that is effectively what it does. It's also important to remember that the effect does disappear relatively quickly if you're not shooting. So it's one of those things where if you're going to take advantage of it, you basically need to maintain fire on your target. Because if you have a decent sized magazine, say you throw an extended one and you have, say, 60 rounds, and you can keep those shots on your target, then you can effectively keep refreshing the effect without it having to drop down. Now, if you're actually shooting enemies and not like a target in the shooting range, then they're also marked with this little icon here. This basically depicts that their damage has been reduced. This of course means that if you're in team play, then your team will know that that particular target is doing less damage. So if you were going to focus fire a boss, for example, then they would of course know to focus their attention on that target. Or similarly, if you were trying to sort of carry like an objective, if you kind of cast your mind back to something like Clear Sky when you had to carry a box, then you could basically fire on the enemy that is shooting the person carrying an object, and of course they're going to take less damage in the process. Now, a couple of interesting gear set options to consider when using this weapon would be the D3FNC, or the frontline set, and also the Predator's Mark set. Now, if I were going to run this in PvE, I would personally run the defense set, simply because you have a shield with your SMG, which of course gives you much more protection anyway. So you can effectively use this as a means to go around and, as mentioned before, debuff the enemies. You can basically put yourself in harm's way and shoot enemies to then lower their damage output so the rest of your team can then move around slightly more freely. Again, I appreciate a lot of high level content in this game doesn't really require that kind of organisation, but there are select situations, especially if you're fighting, say, bosses in an incursion, then you could get some value out of this. However, if you wanted to use this in something like PvP, then I would recommend running with Predator's Mark, because you have an SMG which fires quite fast, you proc the bleed on Predator's Mark relatively quickly, and the nice thing is you can then use the bleed to make up some of the damage you're losing from the MIDAS talent. So in turn, you can effectively lower your opponent's damage output, whilst not necessarily hindering yours quite so much if they're bleeding. So, something to consider. Again, could be fun to run with in PvP. What I would say with this weapon is this would not be a primary weapon. This is definitely something I would carry as a secondary. As archetypes go, it's definitely not the strongest SMG out. As it stands right now in the game anyway, SMGs aren't as strong as they used to be. ARs are kind of dominant at the moment, but regardless, as SMGs go, typically people go towards the MP5 and the PP19. So this, as a model, is not that strong anyway, so I definitely wouldn't recommend running this as your primary weapon. But if you did want to be in a position where you could help your team, or you could say, you know, mess around with people like that in PvP, then I would say run it as a secondary, have something slightly more reliable to fall back as your primary, and then you could have a rather interesting loadout. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. I just wanted to give you guys a super quick look at the weapon because people haven't really been talking about it too much. So I thought for those of you guys, especially on console, you might want to be able to check it out. Either way, that's MIDAS. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.